We didn't get a chance to play all those cuts from the Deerfield commencement speech, but it occurs to me, maybe we'll play some more later on, but everything that Whipple is saying about us, the commencement speaker is saying about us, it applies to him and his tribe in spades. But that's nothing new, is it? 844-500-4242. On Friday night, 48 hours from now, I will be in Bangor, Maine with Grace and with Corey Lewandowski, former campaign manager for President Trump. And we'll be doing our deplorable show, and you can order tickets at howiecarrshow.com. howiecarrshow.com. And we have two kinds of tickets available. We have the full ticket, which includes my book, What Really Happened, and Corey's book, Let Trump Be Trump. Both of these books are endorsed by President Trump in tweets. And if you already have the books or you don't want the books, you could get a more popularly priced, as they used to say, ticket with no books. But you could please come see us. We've sold hundreds of seats, but we have a few left. So come see us on Friday night, June 1st. Me, Corey Lewandowski, and Grace in Bangor, Maine at 7 o'clock. And joining us now on the line is Corey Lewandowski. Corey, thanks for being with us. I look forward to seeing you on Friday in Bangor.
Well, Howie, I'm excited. And if any of your listeners were at the last event that we did for the book signing, I think everybody walked away. They had a great night. We told some great stories. We relived some of the highlights of the campaign, and we talked about what's going on. And, anybody who comes to see us on Friday night in Bangor will have a great crowd. But what they'll see and what they'll hear from us, Howie, is the truth, and they're going to hear exactly what it's like to be next to the President of the United States and talk about all the incoming that he takes every day from the liberal left.
Yeah, this latest thing we talked about a little bit earlier, Corey. The New York Times reported this morning that there were only 1,000 people last night in Nashville, Tennessee, for the rally. 1,000 people. I mean, you can quibble over whether there were 5,000 or 7,000, but how can you get it that wrong? And they finally had to issue a correction after the fire marshal said it was 5,500. And Donald Trump called them out with a tweet this morning about their lying.
Well, look, Howie, I was at the rally last night in Tennessee. I had the privilege of flying on Air Force One with the president yesterday. We flew out to Tennessee. We did some events. I was at that rally. It was absolutely packed over there. If you look earlier in the evening, that same reporter wrote a tweet how she was criticizing a young boy and how sad it was that he was saying that she was the fake news. And only hours later, she was reporting the fake news.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah, let me read it. It's
to apologize.
Julie Hirschfeld Davis is her name, this reporter. This is what she wrote during she tweeted this out during the rally. Depressing sight at Trump rally in Nashville. Adorable young boy, probably about my son's age, pointing iPhone at me and other reporters. And 16 hours later, Corey, as you said, here's her correction tweet. President Donald Trump is correct about his crowd last night. My estimate was way off. It was 1,000. And we have corrected our story to reflect the fire marshal's estimate of 5,500 people. When we get it wrong, we say so. Hey, Corey, they said last week that Pottinger, who's an aide to the president, had said that it was impossible to get the North Korean summit off in Singapore as planned on June 12th. He never said anything like that. Have they corrected that? That was fake news.
They haven't corrected. Yeah, they didn't correct that, of course. And look, you also saw yesterday the reporter from CNN, Hadass Gold, I think her name was, put a tweet out with the kids in the cages, and she blamed the Trump administration, only to take the picture down later because the kids who were in cages were, as it relates to the immigration issue, were actually there during the Obama administration, and she took it down but didn't actually issue the apology until Kellyanne Conway had to go before the cameras and call her out to fix it. That's what we call the fake news.
And an ABC news reporter in Houston tweeted out a picture and said that they had a prison bus for little toddlers. And in fact, it was a bus that was set up so that they could go out on field trips to museums and zoos and things like that. And And the same day that ABC fired Roseanne Barr, that guy just went to work just like nothing had happened, even though he tweeted out fake news.
Howie, the biggest hypocrisy in the last 24 hours is ABC News pretending that they're insulted about what Roseanne Barr said because they just rehired Keith Olbermann, who on his Twitter account to this day has himself calling the President of the United States a Nazi, something that is synonymous with the killing of 7 million innocent people. Keith Olbermann claims the President is a killer and associated with the Nazi regime. And guess what? He was promoted at ESPN, which is owned by ABC. And Bob Iger never picked up the phone and called the president to apologize, or the vice president when Joy Behar criticized the religion of Christianity. Where were those calls?
Yeah, I guess the fact that Bob Iger, the president of ABC, which is Disney and also ESPN, he picked up the phone yesterday and called Valerie Jarrett after Roseanne Barr, made that racist slur about her in the tweet. But you're right. Bob Iger has never called anyone to apologize, has he? There's never been any blowback. Martha Raddatz from ABC News, she was crying on election night when it became obvious that Donald Trump was going to be elected president. There was no problem there, was there?
Howie, it's amazing. This president has been able to achieve things in spite of the mainstream media and the bias and hypocrisy that they continue to place because the American people are so smart. And if you look at the ratings, which is what these networks live by, Fox News and the cable world is dominating the ratings last month once again because people are tired of the lies on MSNBC and CNN, and they're going to get real news, which is the president's rallies, uncut, unfettered, and directly to the American people so they can see it for themselves. And that's what is working. And everyone else who is covering the president in a negative manner, their ratings are going down through the drain.
Yeah, 978 says, I'll buy a ticket if I can get a picture with Howie and Corey. That can be arranged in 978, right, Corey?
If you buy 2 tickets, we'll give you 2 pictures. How's that?
Yeah, we'll be there till the cows come home. We sign books, all the books that you get when you buy the main ticket. We sign the books. We personalize them after the show. We'll pose for pictures. We have a great time, and we have a video that goes with the show. It's really great. Somebody and another texter says this reporter for the New York Times was off by a factor of 5. Imagine if Trump said there were 25,000 people there. Let's play the cut for Corey, Steve. The cut. My high school had its commencement, and the speaker was a victim of Trump derangement syndrome, and he was talking about truth being the first casualty, and he's talking about the crowd size at the inauguration. Let me just play this cut. 16.
Truth was the first casualty of this presidency when the press secretary lied about the size of the inaugural crowd. Truth died again when the chief of staff stepped up to the lectern in the White House briefing room, lied about an elected representative, and then refused to correct himself. It's up to all of us to call out these lies every time they occur.
Is this guy going to call out the New York Times for lying about the size of the crowd last night, Corey?
How about you go back to the day President Trump was sworn into office when the reporter from Time magazine tweeted out that the bust of MLK was removed from the Oval Office, right? Mm-hmm. Of course it wasn't removed. It was in the exact same spot. Where is the call out for the media? Time and time again, they just make stuff up. I was home all weekend. It was a beautiful Memorial Day weekend. I'm in my beautiful house in New Hampshire, and I'm relaxing, and I see on NBC News the FBI had contacted the Trump campaign and spoke to the campaign manager and told them they had put an informant inside the campaign. I'm like, that is 100% a lie. They never made that phone call, and nobody believes it, right? It's amazing. They go on, the media goes on with impunity to say whatever they want, and they say, well, we make mistakes too. But when the president makes a mistake, they grind it every day, 50, 60, 70 times. They never let it go. and they don't give him the credit for what he deserves.
And then when it turns out to be fake, they don't run a lot of them don't run a correction. They just drop the story. They just remove it from their websites, or they don't even run a correction in the print paper.
The corrections on page A97 in 2-point font at the very bottom of the old gray lady who can't see it anymore, right?
How about at the press briefing today? Did you watch it, Corey Lewandowski? At the very end,
of course.
Somebody, Sarah Huckabee Sanders is asked about the apology that the president is demanding for all the rotten things that have been said about him by Keith Olbermann and everybody else on ESPN. And ABC. And so some reporter said, why hasn't Trump apologized for calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas? What does he have to apologize for, Corey? She's a fake Indian.
Well, look, I think maybe he's right. Maybe the name should be Pocahontas because she's so fake. I mean, it's actually helping Pocahontas of giving her some credibility. She's really Pocahontas. She's so fake. And everybody knows it. And Elizabeth Warren is the one who perpetuated this story so she could gain access to Harvard, Howie. That's how she got in, and we all know it.
Yeah, exactly. And before that, the University of Pennsylvania. She used fraudulent racial credentials to get 2 tenured positions at Ivy League law schools. And nobody ever calls her out on it.
Thank God they didn't have a DNA test back then, Howie, because they could have called her up. But she did have the high cheekbones, she claimed.
All right, Corey. So again, we're gonna be there in Bangor, Maine, on Friday night at 7:00. Tickets are still available, and how many people are we're expecting thousands of people, right, Corey? As the New York Times would say.
I think it's tens of thousands of people, and I think the Bangor Daily News is going to report it properly, right? It's going to be a great crowd, Howie. I'm really excited. I'm going to come up early. Hopefully you'll let me come on the show on Friday. We'll promote it a little bit more. But I promise every listener, as I sit here, I'll sign every book, I'll take every picture, and I'll tell you this, it will be a lot of fun on a Friday night.
Hey, Corey, you got to get there. You got to get there at 3:00 because Governor LePage is going to be with us from 3 to 3:30, and I'm sure he's gonna be asking you for recommendations for his next job search coming up in November.
Well, I'll be happy to help the governor. He's been a good supporter of this president, and so that makes him a friend of ours. I'll be happy to help him any way I can. He's
having, I think, a procedure, a surgical procedure today. His shoulder is all screwed up. He got hit by a kid driver in Florida when he was out on a bike. Now that he's taken off the 100 pounds, he's become a bike rider again. So it sounds
like Live Shot. Look, Howie, there's a story there. Don't ride the pedal bike, okay? It's like Live Shot. Remember when he fell off the bike on the road race? What the hell's going on with the bikes all of a sudden?
Yeah,
you guys think they're Lance Armstrong?
I know. I think in Florida, I like to ride the bike in Florida, but I stay on this bike path that's far off the beaten trail. You don't want to get out on the main thoroughfares in Florida when you're on the bike. And by the way, 508 says, remind Corey to lock his door when he leaves the house this evening.
Look, I'm fully prepared, and I'll be home in New Hampshire soon. I don't have to worry about locking my doors. We have our own sense of security up there, if you know what I mean, Howie. I don't have any problems up there.
What's the latest on that story with that woman who broke in? Is that case still pending, or have you decided to let it drop?
Oh, no. Look, Howie, it's absolutely still pending. My attorneys have notified the New York Magazine that we're going to pursue this to the fullest extent of the law, and now they're saying, well, we'll have a conversation. And she didn't really go in your home. Hey, dummy! She put it on Twitter that she went in and took pictures in my place in Washington. That's called breaking and entering. I don't know where you're from, but in Lowell, you get arrested for doing stuff like that.
All right, Corey Lewandowski, we'll see you on Friday with Governor LePage, and you'll see Grace, and we'll all be there, and we'll have a great crowd in Bangor at 7:00. You can order your tickets at HowieCarrShow.com, HowieCarrShow.com. And thanks for being with us, Corey.
Thanks, Howie. See you Friday.
Bye-bye. I'm Howie Carr.